tell us about the talent search for Space Command and using the Kickstarter backers in conjunction with who it will be.
Yeah, well, Kickstarter, I mean, the thing about Space Command is I'm going to be making a series of films, and it's a big, epic story. It takes place over 200 years in our future exploration of the solar system and out into the stars. It's basically about two families, the Kemmer family and the Sikander family, and we go over several generations with them as all these amazing things happen in our future. So it's lots of special effects, big canvas, epic story, and we're jumping at various points. Some of our stories are very far down that timeline, some are closer to our own time, and it's not a linear chronology. It's very much, and so there's going to be a lot of roles. And so I'm casting a lot of my friends, Armin Shimmerman from Deep Space Nine, who I worked with on Deep Space Nine and a lot of other shows, Ethan Phillips, who played Neelix in Star Trek Voyager, and Amber Benson from Buffy, and Doug Jones from Pan's Labyrinth and Hellboy. These are all people that, I'm writing roles for. They're playing aliens and androids and all sorts of stuff. And but I also, I was thinking about it, and I was thinking about Kickstarter is very much the public, the audience, the fans are every bit as much of this creative process as we are, and it's very much a two-way street. And I'm not arrogant about that at all. I'm not the big guy on the pillar dispensing wisdom. That's not my role. It's a two-way conversation. I'm enormously grateful whether someone gives me $5,000 or $1. Thank you. They had to earn that money or inherit it, or where they get to get that money somewhere. I'm grateful. So I was thinking about it. I think, okay, this is participatory, and we've been getting effects people contacting us and makeup people, and I thought, well, how can I make it as participatory as possible? And there were two roles that I hadn't yet cast. I hadn't really plugged any of my friends in on those roles, and I thought, okay, one of them is the lead, Commander Matt Kemmer of the spaceship Paladin, and there was a young member of the crew, Cadet Bradbury, and I actually named that character from the beginning. It was way before Ray passed away, but because this is so inspired by Ray Bradbury's work in Heinlein and Asimov and Arthur C. Clarke, but particularly Ray, I named the character Cadet Bradbury, and so I decided, well, why don't we have anyone in the world can audition for these roles? They can go on the Space Command website. They can pull down scenes, we call them sides, to audition with, and they can just put a video on YouTube. It doesn't have to be, like a movie. It can just be them auditioning, and they can put that on YouTube. And our backers on Kickstarter, on Space Command, can vote, and we'll narrow it down to 5 each, and and then we'll have a second round, and it's just kind of like. And also another thing I'm going to be doing, because certain actors said, well, what about us? We don't fit either of those roles. So I'm actually going to write scenes for a character called Other, and people will be able to audition for that role too, where it's like anybody, any size, any age, any race, anything, they can audition for that if they don't suit the. And also I made Cadet Bradbury non-gender specific, so it can be a male, it can be a female, because again I thought, well, that's fun, that's interesting, and because I'm very inclusive, and I recognize that wonderful, brilliant person. Well, for instance, when I did the Star Trek episode, World Enough in Time, I cast a lead actress from a very successful show, and she was very, very good, and 4 weeks before we were going to shoot, this is after 6 months of building the team, she sat down with me and she said, I've just been told I have to have surgery, I cannot do this role. And I went, white. And that's again where it's very useful to have a wife, because Elaine said, don't worry, we'll have auditions and someone better will come in through that door. And there was an actress named Christina Moses who had never done television, never done film, she only done stage. She'd done stage in New York, and she came in and she auditioned for the role, and I cast her in the lead opposite George Takei, playing George's daughter, and she was the best actress I ever worked with. She's phenomenal. And she's so good that for 2 years I was banging on J.J. Abrams saying, you got to check this actress out, you got to watch this episode. And finally he emailed me and said, you were 2 years ahead of us, you're absolutely right. And he put her on a talent deal, and she was auditioning for the leads in his shows. So that's how amazing that was. And I cast her in the lead in Space Command 2. So knowing that someone with no TV or film credits could be the most phenomenal actress I've ever worked with, I learned. One thing I try to do is learn from what happens in my life. So I learned that lesson, and that's how the talent search came about. And so I'm thrilled with what's going to happen. It's going to be, and when you talk about that big break and that fairy godmother moment, those don't often happen, but sometimes they do. And when they happen, it isn't just the unknown person where it's a great gift to them. It's a great gift to us, because we get the gift of their talent, themselves, who they are. So that works great.